Cyclone Amphan has hit northeastern India and Bangladesh, where millions are hunkering down in emergency shelters. The massive storm is packing dangerous hurricane-force winds, and authorities say it could trigger devastating floods along the low-lying coast. Authorities are also worried about the spread of the coronavirus in cyclone shelters, where they say social distancing is impossible.
Howling winds and driving rain. Cyclone Amphan unleashed its formidable force as it made landfall. The storm first touched down in the Indian state of West Bengal. The coastline there and neighbouring Bangladesh are bearing the brunt of the cyclone. With wind gusts of up to 190 kilometres per hour, the storm is the strongest to hit the area in over a decade. The flood-prone region is densely populated with many vulnerable communities. Over 2.5 million people have been evacuated from low-lying areas and are being housed in shelters. The coronavirus pandemic has further complicated matters.
It is, you can say, a double threat in this pandemic situation. We have got the threat due to this COVID-19, and at the same time, we have got this tropical cyclone approaching a densely populated area of West Bengal and Bangladesh.
Social distancing is nearly impossible in such cramped quarters, and authorities fear combating the virus will be hampered by the destruction wrought by the cyclone. It's an unprecedented challenge, even for people living in an area prone to regular cyclones. A challenge that will remain long after the storm has passed.
OK, let's bring in DW correspondent Nimisha Jaiswal, who is in Delhi for more on this story. Hi, Nimisha. What more are you hearing from the region?
Well, Christine, the cyclone made landfall in northeast India at about 4 p.m. local time. And already in the following hours, there have been reports of trees being uprooted. There has been building damage in the capital city of West Bengal, Kolkata. And there is an expectation of communication lines also being hit. Of course, the disaster relief force in India has deployed massive efforts already. Over 40 teams on the ground. Over 600,000 people have been evacuated from low-lying areas only in 2 states in India itself. But of course, there's also an expectation from people. Local leaders have put out a call saying people must not emerge from their homes until an all-clear is declared, expectedly on Thursday, because last year's Cyclone Amphan wrecked the worst of its damage while it was pulling out. So authorities will be watching closely what the course of the cyclone will be over the next 24 hours.
Nimisha, you talked about evacuations there, but how difficult is it proving to evacuate people and get them to safety during a pandemic?
Well, that has definitely been a challenge, Christine. India has been in a months-long lockdown and it is only just beginning to emerge now. Just 2 weeks ago, the state of West Bengal had converted hundreds of shelters into COVID shelters. And now they're scrambling once again to shift people while maintaining social distancing, which has been a challenge. In fact, authorities have had to go out and plead for people to move to shelters, and many people are actually unwilling to move to crowded shelters because they're worried about the coronavirus. So truly a double threat, as authorities in India are pointing out.
What about the hundreds of thousands of Rohingya people living in refugee camps in neighbouring Bangladesh, Nimisha?
Yes, Christine, that's another concerning area. International organizations have already deployed teams over there to make sure that any impact from the cyclone can be dealt with. There's also been efforts to reinforce the surroundings. But it is important to note that many of these shelters are tarpaulin and bamboo shelters, so they are weak shelters. The silver lining, if it can be called as such, is that the cyclone doesn't actually trace through Cox's Bazar, which is considered to be one of the most densely populated areas in the world. However, last week, the first cases of COVID-19 have emerged in the area, and the cyclone, even if it doesn't wreak as heavy damage in Cox's Bazar, is definitely going to complicate the fight against coronavirus in the area.
All right, that's DW's Nimisha Jaiswal reporting for us in Delhi. Thank you. Let's brief you on some other coronavirus developments. Global confirmed cases are approaching 5 million and the death toll is more than 323,000. Brazil has confirmed a record rise in daily deaths from the disease. 1,179 people died from the virus on Tuesday. South Korean high schools have reopened after being shut down for 2 months. Hundreds of thousands of older students have returned to the classroom under strict hygiene controls. And Britain's aerospace manufacturer Rolls-Royce says it's cutting at least 9,000 jobs, a sixth of its workforce, because of the fall in global air travel.